Sports Scene, Hampton Roads' premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11.
And you look at that, 4-4 at home, which is just average, 4-3-1 on the road. I mean, you're not going to win any games like that. They were not the same team after they beat the Packers, yet the Packers were a totally different team.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM. When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. From Chesapeake, Virginia, the Lighthouse 100.1 presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
Sports Scene, midweek online, Saturday on the radio from 10 to 11, 100.1 FM, 1010 AM. TuneIn.com, type in WPMH in the search bar to listen to the radio every Saturday. Greg Bicouvaris and Joe Daniel on the Lighthouse, always archived on YouTube at GJBTV.com. Sports Scene is an interview show. Also watch sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. Tell your friends about GJBTV.com and click the YouTube link on the homepage for archived audio and video. Twitter @GregBic, @GJB Radio, and you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on GJBTV.com in the contact section. Thank you to our military guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville, now delivering. Sponsors on GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors, and Hampton Roads onlinemall.com. Phone line presented by Me Casita with 2 locations in Virginia Beach. Show is presented by HRSMHOF.com. College football, NFL, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And, of course, congratulations once again to the Red Sox for winning the World Series. Great interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars, newcomers, and tourists. Also want to say a special shout-out to all the people that survived in Pittsburgh and to all the victims. May their memory be eternal.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to GJBTV.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
And welcome back to Sports Scene. I want to thank our good friends, Sakura Japanese Restaurant. Go by and see Jasmine and the wonderful staff at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake for delicious, hot Japanese food, open 7 days a week. It's a pleasure to talk to Joel Rubin of the Rubin's Communications Group. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Greg. It's so good to talk to you.
You too, Joel. Always a pleasure.
Well.
Always a pleasure, my friend. First of all, let's start off with what happened in Pittsburgh here recently. My heart broke. I think everybody could have a feeling with the Jewish community. I remember as a kid, my mom and I used to belong to the Newport News Jewish Community Center. I think this really hit home hard.
Well, it really hit home for people like me, because I belong to a conservative synagogue in Norfolk that's very similar to the conservative synagogue in Pittsburgh that was the target of this assassination, I'll call it. And the people who were killed, the 11 people who were killed, were very similar to 11 people I know at my synagogue who come early to services on the Sabbath and are there because you have to have 10 people to start a service. So these are the stalwarts. The people have been going for years. And every synagogue, particularly conservative synagogues, all and Orthodox synagogues, have those 11 people. And so when I was looking at their faces, and I think everybody that would belong to a conservative synagogue in America looked at those 11 people, some of them Holocaust survivors, some of them maybe immigrants, older people that are just, they gave their life to the synagogue. And to be gunned down like that was just, it was, you know, I started crying because I was like, I know those people. I don't know their names. I know those people.
I mean,
and it was very painful.
You're right. I mean, I think one of the names was Rubinowitz, I believe. And
I mean, they're just regular guys that have grown up in one of the most historic and vibrant Jewish communities in the country. Squirrel Hill's known across America among the Jewish community for, it's sort of like Ghent on steroids. You know, there's Orthodox synagogues and conservative and Reform synagogues, and I'm sure there's a Jewish community center there. All live in Squirrel Hill and all participate in activities there, and they all get together. So I'm sure they'll be feeling that for a long time.
Talking to Joel Rubin right here. Joel, tell the audience, what is it like for a typical service on Saturday? You see a lot of the older Jewish folks even walking sometimes, and a lot of the people that are not educated don't understand that. Well,
what goes on first of all, this guy was sitting in his car at 9:49 a.m. on that Gab website, you know, reading about how Jews are controlling the world and all this, and he said, I'm going in. So he goes in with, you know, guns blazing. Fortunately, he went in early, and before most of the people were at services. If he had done this at 11 o'clock, there would have been a whole lot more people inside the building than at 9:54. So, but there were a lot of other people who were probably walking to the services that day or driving, and because all this mayhem is happening outside of Tree of Life Church, synagogue, they turned around and went back inside. I'm sure the police were saying, "Go hide, go hide, go hide," and so that did minimize the damage. But what was happening there is what happens in Jewish communities across the country. But fortunately, so far, this kind of, you know, murders are not happening yet, but Jews are very concerned, as all people should be concerned, when our fellow Americans are gunned down in their places of worship. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it happened in Charleston. It happened in Texas. I think it was Texas. And, you know, people go to pray or to socialize or be with their fellow congregants, and they have a right to have peace.
Yes.
And they shouldn't have to have, you know, congregants armed with guns or policemen guarding every entrance. Not right.
You're exactly right. I mean, we had our church service on Sunday, and I'm on the board of the church, and during our General Assembly meeting, one of the parishioners brought up, do we need to have armed, you know, security for weekly church services? I know there's some weddings that once the door shuts, they won't even let people back in. We shouldn't live in a police state like they said in Pittsburgh, but we have to be a lot more proactive because there's nuts out there in this political climate we live in.
Well, look, if this place seems unsafe, you ain't going to it, okay? Right. You're not going to a Sunday or Saturday service if you think you're not safe,
sure.
Or should you?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if the last place that we can feel, if church and synagogue aren't safe, then we don't have real freedom of religion in this country.
You're exactly right. We shouldn't have to look over our shoulder. Talking to Joel Rubin, media mogul here in Hampton Roads. Let's switch the subjects and let's leave it with this. May their memory be eternal in 24/7, 365. This election race going on right now with Luria and her opponent, unbelievable. It seems like the political ads are rivaling just as much as we saw a few years ago, or, you know, with the presidential election.
Well, I think by the time this show airs, is the election to be over?
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yeah. So, but if you just want to talk about how much money was spent in this election, just here in this congressional district.
Joel, talk about what you thought about the money spent in the political election between Luria and her opponent.
I was stunned how much money came into this district, and obviously it was coming from all over the country. I mean, there were targeted races that both the Republicans to hold on to the seat and the Democrats to take the seat. And so, you know, the money goes where it's sort of told to go. And we had several races in Virginia that were like that. And so people up in the Richmond area were getting tons of ads in the Brat Spamberger race, and we're getting tons of it. down. We got tons of it down here for Luria Taylor, and Northern Virginia was getting it as well. So it was a sign of the times. And, of course, a lot of these Republicans were vulnerable, at least perceived to be vulnerable because of Trump and the state of our politics. And so, and look, Democrats were felt to be in ascendancy. So it's not surprising that the money all came into these. But, we were all the recipients of it as the viewers.
Right.
And I read a letter to the editor. Somebody said, I can't get to my remote control fast enough to turn the sound down when an ad comes on.
Right.
But something, it's like this every cycle, particularly once we get into October, and just, what we have to live with. And at the end of the day, somebody gets elected, we move on.
Yeah, somebody who's involved in advertising, I like it, but at the same time, it's overkill. It's almost white noise because I don't think anything makes a difference, but so much.
Oh, yeah, so much. And it's defensive. And it does have an impact. I
Sure.
mean, if you produce the ads well and buy enough of them, it does tend to put something into your head about, I like this one because, and then they're repeating back to you what they heard on an ad.
Mm-hmm.
So it does have an impact, or they wouldn't be spending all this money. These are smart people who are raising it and spending it.
Right, we know their names. That's for sure. Talking to Joel Rubin. Joel, let's talk about as far as the local TV climate we're seeing today. You just saw Regina Mobley step down at Channel 13. A lot of the old guard are still there. Your former colleague Barbara Sierra, the anchors, but the reporters. We talk about this. They come and go. Your son used to do it as well. It just seems like it's a constant motion. Is it because they don't want to work the nights, the weekends? They want to move to that ever glorious other market.
Well, that's always been the case. That we used to be, and I'm not sure. I don't, work in it every day, but there used to be a market where you worked someplace else, maybe one or two markets before you got here. I don't know that that's the case anymore.
Sure.
I don't think they're paying as well as they used to, and they're putting a lot of work on them because when I started, we had like maybe a 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock newscast. Now they're starting at 4 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock at night, and excuse me, because of the technology, they're having to tweet and Facebook and Instagram, and they're just putting stories on the website, and some of the stories on the website are different than the ones that are on the air because, frankly, the web is becoming the main conduit of information in the country, not television, not radio, sadly, not even obviously newspapers. So they're putting a lot of stories out on the web before they even get on TV or in print. So the whole way of communicating has changed, and all these media now are just platforms. They're not a radio station or a TV station or a newspaper. They are multimedia and using the web as much as they can and hoping to sell ads on it. And that's, at the end of the day, what they're all trying to figure out is how they make money on the web.
You're exactly right. And I'll just say this. I used to work for Red Zebra Broadcasting. Dan Snyder owned our station here on Greenwich Road in Virginia Beach for 6 years. He sold the stations in Richmond and D.C., and, of course, they still run the radio network on game day. And I told a lot of the guys that were laid off up in D.C., unless you're bringing money to the table, you are expendable. You can't just do a show unless you're Tony over at the other station who's been there for so many years. You have to evolve, you have to bring money on the table. I got that at a young age. You understood that years ago, and it just seems like a lot of the old school on-air people realize that they're going to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning, leave at 10:01. Those days are long gone.
Oh yeah. No, they work hard. Newspaper reporters are working hard today.
Sure.
Because they also are having to serve the internet master, and it's a real challenge to do it. And it's not like, particularly in print, that there's a million jobs you're aspiring to at other newspapers, because they're going away, consolidating or reducing staff or whatever it is. And we're seeing it in our local market here. So it's a challenge. But I love journalism. I was a journalist. It's a calling. I don't like this. Calling them the enemy of the people and all that. I hate that. It's wrong because a lot of these guys work very hard.
Right, talking to Joel
so
Rubin.
I'll always be a booster of reporters and journalists and editors.
Right. As far, you're exactly right about the internet being the master, but radio and TV are still front and center. I don't think they're going to go away anytime soon. People still like to watch their Fox News channel or CNN at night,
Yeah.
It's still front
question.
and center. Talk about some of the other activities you're going on. You're involved with a lot of different businesses, public relations. I guess the whole thing with the mayor from Virginia Beach stepping down, you don't hear much about the arena like you did, let's say, a year or two ago.
Well, it went away. It was the developers gave it a good run, but got hung up at the end with the city of Virginia Beach over meeting their obligations. It's just the subject of a lawsuit. But now, if you're over in Virginia Beach and you're driving around where the convention center is on 19th Street, you'll see the parking lot's all torn up, and they're going to build a sports center to host some major tournaments. So Virginia Beach is a sports town without a sports team, without a college sports team. But, there's a lot of money to be made in parents taking their kids on AAU tournaments or whatever it is to compete, to get scholarships to college or whatever they're going to do with their skills. So Virginia Beach will be, a host of all these tournaments that are coming up. So the sports center looks like it's coming along, and the first thing that's really been built down there, near the oceanfront in a long time. They're talking about the dome site and possible Pharrell Williams inspired surf camp and entertainment center down on 19th Street. So Virginia Beach is trying to realize, its dream of bringing more tourists in all year long. With other facilities that are available to them, and starting with the sports center. So it's coming.
Right, talking to Joel Rubin, but it just seems like it's not the same without those two because they were so much front and center for so many decades.
Well, look, Paul Frame was mayor of Norfolk for a long time, and he's gone, and now Kenny Alexander is putting his stamp, in Norfolk. New mayor in Portsmouth now, John Rowe, has been around for a while in Chesapeake, and I know Donnie Tuck over in Hampton and McKinley Price over in Newport News. So, all these mayors, put their own stamp on their service. But it's also, you got to remember, in Virginia, we're a city manager form of government. Mm-hmm. The mayors are one vote on a 7 or 9 or 11 member city council. And so I'm not saying they're all interchangeable, but they don't run the city.
Right.
And it's important, to remember that they are the face many times if they choose to be, and they can help set the agenda if they choose to. But at the end of the day, they're one vote, and the other people you are electing into, like in wards at Newport News or boroughs in Virginia Beach or that sort of thing, they're also very important. They all have a vote. It's an equal vote to the mayor. So all these elections, each cycle, are important, whether they're May elections or November elections, and deserve our attention as citizens.
You're exactly right. Before I talk to you real quick about the activities coming up for the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame or whatever else you're promoting, I see a lot of these tech centers opening up all over Hampton Roads. Virginia Beach has had it for years. Newport News has one. Hampton has one. But a lot of businesses come and go there, Joel. It seems like they can't sustain because there's too many businesses. I know in Newport News, for example, they started off with Port Work. They went to City Center. Businesses from the City Center have left and moved to the Tech Center. Tech Center is starting to lose businesses, too. Is it just a case of it looks nice, but it's too much for the communities to support? Well,
look, there's a big IKEA about to open in Norfolk. I just drove past it the other day. Went, oh my God, that huge blue thing right off Northampton Boulevard. Wegmans is coming to Virginia Beach. I mean, these guys are going where the population and the money are. They're trying to make strategic decisions as to where they will be. And you're right. If they're not making it at MacArthur Center or City Center or Peninsula Town Center, whatever, they're going to go someplace else, or they're just going to close. And Sears has gone bankrupt. Macy's has closed stores. I mean, retail is having its challenges, not just here, but everywhere. And people are looking. It's all Amazon. The richest guy in the world is Jeff Bezos. Mm-hmm. So, it's convenient. You go online, you order something, deliver it at your door. You don't like it, you send it back.
Exactly.
And so, the whole way we interact with business and products and services, from grocery stores to, clothes, is all changing. And we're seeing it right before our eyes. I mean, there's Norfolk Southern may leave and go to Atlanta, and it's going to open up a big gap of office space in Norfolk, as well as homes that these executives lived in. So these things have an impact. At the same time, I was walking in our airport in Norfolk the other day, and I saw a sign, "Welcome Dollar Store employees," because or Dollar Tree, because
right.
A Dollar Tree bought Dollar, whatever it is, everything's a dollar, whatever that other Family Dollar,
right.
Family Dollar from Charlotte, and a lot of those people are moving up here. So you're seeing this, movement around as companies consolidate offices and close down so they can all, make more money in the third quarter. So this is the nature of the economy, and we're all subject to it.
Right.
They come and they go.
Look at the sports teams here. The Tides are doing well, not as well as they used to, and the Admirals are barely hanging on. But what is your thoughts about the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame activities you got coming up?
Well, we're always focused toward April when we have our next class of inductees. I think we'll be announcing it probably in December. And Virginia produces, as you know, Greg, so many great athletes year after year. Some of them retire. I mean, when David Wright called it quits, you can be sure he's going to be in our Hall of Fame here within a year or two.
Sure.
Some guys are first rounders or whatever, and some guys wait a few years to get in. But we always want people to interact with the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame and make nominations and let us know who they think should be honored in that way. And we all get to enjoy their exploits either on the fields here, mainly when they're younger, or if they go into the pros, the NFL or Major League Baseball, the NBA, we get to see them on that bigger stage. And trust me, I turn on the Milwaukee Bucks every time I can to watch Malcolm Brogdon and anybody that played college basketball or football in Virginia. I'm always interested in watching them on the biggest stage and see how they do. It's cool. I got to sit. I was telling somebody the other day, I got to sit a few years ago with Rondé Barber at dinner when we inducted him into the Hall of Fame, and that was just delightful. I love these guys and their backstories and how they got to where they are and what they overcame. I mean, it's awesome stuff, and so that's what I really enjoy about sports. So obviously the results are great, but also the people that play in it.
Sure. I want to leave you. I know you're happy about Virginia's improvement in football. If I would have told you before 2018 that Old Dominion would have beaten Virginia Tech, Virginia hasn't done it in quite some time, and have a horrible years. And still have a bad season, and the fans are ready to dethrone Bobby Wilder on Facebook. What a weird year. It looks like they won the Mega Millions by beating Virginia Tech, but everything else has gone south.
Well, you hope that a win over Virginia Tech will jumpstart your season, but in reality, it's week to week.
Right.
And, momentum, one team has momentum coming out of a win because if you ask the coaches and players, they learn from it. We figured out how to do this or how to stop the other team from doing that. But the other team, by losing, figures out, oh, my God, why did, now we understand how to stop the run or stop the pass, that sort of thing. So, you're right. The big story in November, if things are continuing the way they've been going, will be what happens on Thanksgiving weekend when UVA goes to Virginia Tech and tries to win for the first time in 14 years. And, there's no question that the teams are more equal this year. Bronco Mendenhall has started the season with this team focused on beating Virginia Tech. He knows that's a metric for the fans, and that if we can beat Virginia Tech, particularly in Blacksburg, that's going to be very good for recruiting, for alumni giving. And, Virginia's trying to raise $180 million or whatever it is to build new athletic facilities. They're going to tear down the old U-Haul and all the buildings that are right next to it. So, UVA needs a jump start, and this, what they've done the early part of the season is great. And if they can beat Virginia Tech and then go to a decent bowl game or whatever, football is back at UVA. And look, they got 62,000 seats there at Scott Stadium. They haven't been filled in a long time.
No, but they play at Virginia Tech on a Friday night this year. Kind of interesting. They've been doing that the last few seasons. Joel, all the best to you, my friend. Thank you for your time, your talent, and your treasure. And we look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Joel Rubin right there as well, longtime broadcaster in Hampton Roads. Sports Scene will continue after these messages.
I'm Jerry Qualls. For over 40 years, I've been counseling people with marriage and family issues, depression, anger, fear, communication difficulties, and other problems. In fact, I hosted a radio call-in counseling program for 35 years called Heart to Heart. I'm counseling people throughout the United States. I offer counseling services by the internet, over the phone, or in person. If your marriage is in crisis or you're wrestling with other issues, please call or text 757-679-6360 or reach me through jerryqualls.com.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. The best guests appear here on Sports Scene. Now back to Greg in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios.
I want to thank our good friends at Outback in Kempsville. Go by and see Mike and the great staff. Spacious, nice dining area. They're delivering lunch and dinner daily, 7 days a week. Of course, great burgers, steaks, soup, salads, seafood, pasta, great appetizers. 7 days a week at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Give them a call at 523-4832. Great place for the holidays. Great place to kick back is Outback Steakhouse. Great menu and, of course, great app as well. Outback Steakhouse in Virginia Beach in Kempsville. It's a pleasure to talk to Patrick from AMF York Lanes. He's the general manager. Patrick, good to talk to you.
Hey, likewise, Greg. How's everything going with you today, sir?
Very good, my friend. We're in November, and of course, toward the end of the fourth quarter here. This is bowling season front and center.
That is the truth, man. The weather is finally broken. People are finally flooding the gates.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the York Lanes right there, conveniently located to several locations on the peninsula, right there on Route 17 in Yorktown.
Yeah, we are located on 4200 George Washington Memorial Highway, just up the street from the reservoir. Great location, newly renovated, lots to do. We actually just installed a brand new arcade, a good way for adults to come in and have fun like kids, and kids to have more fun than just bowling.
Very nice. Talking to Patrick Rollins, of course, from AMF in Yorktown. Really, Patrick, there's something for everyone there. I mean, between a great snack bar and, of course, a spacious showroom that you have there, even spectators can go there and just kick back with their family and friends as the holidays get closer.
You know, the best part about bowling, Greg, is everybody can do it, honestly. The entire family can come. It doesn't matter your age, your gender, your athleticism, or anything like that. We have something for everybody. The menu, like you said, is fantastic. Bowling center food has definitely stepped it up a notch lately. I almost more or less think that we have restaurant quality food. Even our pizzas are cooked in brick oven.
Talk about the leagues there, and how can people get involved in leagues, and when is a great time to go open bowling?
Leagues are a lot of fun. There's that misconception out there that you have to be a great bowler to be in leagues. That's kind of changed a lot over the many years, and it's more or less become a social gathering. It's a great place for you to get together with friends, have a good time, and enjoy yourself. We have leagues starting up all the time. We have your traditional leagues that run through the solid cold months out into April, and a lot of them have already started, but we have fun programs for families and youth that start up every few months, usually typically on the weekend. If you're looking to just come out and hang out with some family, you can always come visit us anytime, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. We have a lot to do, and it's definitely a great place to be.
Talk about what a newcomer should do as far as equipment. That's the one good thing is you don't need a whole lot of equipment. Obviously, you need a bowling ball and, of course, some shoes when you get there. But talk about some of the do's and don'ts for a newcomer.
Newcomer, do's and don'ts. I'd say the do is come in with a positive attitude, ready to have a good time. You don't need bowling balls. You don't need shoes or anything like that. We have everything that you need here in the center. The goal is to just get your friends and plan on coming out and having a good time. And,
of course, your hours open 7 days a week?
We are open 7 days a week. We're pretty typically full Monday through Thursday in the evening times. We do have some late-night specials Monday through Friday after 9 p.m., and we have a great special on Sundays after 6 p.m. You can check all of those specials out at www.amf.com. But coming out anytime, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we have plenty of lanes available, and we can definitely look to entertain you.
And people have birthday parties out there. Like we said earlier, there's something for young and old both.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We have a lot of different events. We cater to small kids' birthday parties, anywhere between 5 to 15 years old. We have larger corporate events as well. We can pretty much cater to any type of business, any type of need. Like we said before, bowling is a great place to come and have a good time, whether it's a team-building event for your organization or family and friends coming to get together for a family reunion. We host a lot of birthday parties, and kids just really enjoy it. A lot of the packages that we offer even have real bowling pins that the kids get to have, and all their guests get to sign it, and it's something for them to have with them throughout the remaining of their life.
Right, too. Not to mention, like you just said that, but also future memories. I mean, great memories are happening right there at AMF, and bowling is a sport for everyone, and like anybody can get involved in it as well. And the future is even getting brighter because, it's good athletic fitness too. You just can't just stay in one spot. You're constantly moving. I think that's always a big misconception about bowling, is that you're kind of sedentary. You're really not that sedentary.
No, you were correct. It is definitely a good place to come and work out. It's a lot involved. I mean, if you can imagine swinging anywhere between a 10 and 14-pound bowling ball, 10 to 20 times down a lane for one game. That's a good little workout, and then you're also moving your feet, swinging your arms. You're keeping yourself in motion. I want to say that the average person burns about 250 calories an hour when bowling.
That's at least a candy bar, so that's pretty good. Absolutely. All right, well, tell us again how people can get a hold of AMF York Lanes. You're open 7 days a week, and talk about your address. And, of course, Facebook is important in social media.
Yeah, definitely. If you search AMF York Lanes, or even our parent company, Bolero Corporation, you can get a lot of different information about our center and all the centers in the area. We're located out in Yorktown, Virginia, on Route 17. It's pretty easy to get to. If you're coming from the Newport News area, you can head down Fort Eustis Boulevard, make a right onto 17. It's a few miles up on the left. If you're coming from Hampton or Minchville area, you can head on down Route 17, and you'll see us on the right once you pass Victory Boulevard. The easy way to get information about our center, honestly, is check out our website. Go to www.amf.com/York Lanes, or even if you're on the South Side area or anywhere else in our viewing area or listening area, just go to amf.com, and you can search the location and find the closest one to you.
Right. Do you try to take advantage of the so-called great months? I mean, obviously October, November, December, January, February, March, even April are kind of like conducive to bowling. Or do you do special type of themes for the employees to get to take advantage of the customers being there?
Our team really enjoys the atmosphere that they work in. This is a great company. When you come in, you're treated with 100% respect, full world-class environment. They appreciate the team that we have, and that's the way it is in our entire company. It's a great place to grow and a great atmosphere to be in.
Very good. Patrick Rollins, thank you for all your time right here on Sports Scene. We look forward to talking to you again in December and focusing on what's going on during the holiday season.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Greg. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. Patrick Rollins right there. And Joe Daniel, you know how popular bowling is, and it's a great winter sport, totally. There's something to do. I mean, when you go to a movie, you can sometimes fall asleep. You're not falling asleep when you're bowling.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And like you said, when it's the wintertime and it's cold outside, that's a perfect indoor environment. And like you said, there's games at an AMF. There's laser tag sometimes. Like, there's more than just bowling. You're not going there. And the food there is actually pretty good. Like you said, brick oven pizza, like that sounds phenomenal. And my very first job growing up in high school was to work at a bowling alley, and I have extremely fond memories of working at a bowling alley. And I worked the snack bar, and it was just so great and so much fun. And bowling, like you said, is a sport for everyone. You see little children out there 3 or 4 years old, and you have people out there who are in their 90s. and still bowling, still staying active. And it's one of those just all-around sports that is for everyone.
You're right, because you don't have to worry about the weather unless it's a snowstorm trying to get there. You know you got a consistent indoor place.
Right, yeah, exactly. And it's comfortable, and the AMFs are beautiful facilities.
They really are. Sports Scene will continue, of course, after this message from Barrel 1706 Mediterranean Avenue in Virginia Beach. Great appetizers, burgers, chicken sandwich, cheesesteak, salads, vegan menu as well, house-cut fries, beer-battered onion rings, excellent desserts. Go by and see Jamie and the great staff over there, Chris as well. They'll take good care of you at Barrel 17. Like them on Facebook. Always great burger specials, great games on TV. 1706 Mediterranean Avenue, Virginia Beach. Something for everyone at Barrel 17. Go by there today.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios.
And welcome back to Sports Scene. I want to thank our good friends at CP Shuckers, Locals Tradition, Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue. Delicious food, great appetizers, steak bites, sandwiches, burgers, all the games on TV. Go by and see Matt, Mark, Chef Leon, and like them on Facebook for delicious food 7 days a week. It's a pleasure to talk to George McClain, our monthly interview feature right here on Sports Scene, the owner of the Marksman. George, how are you?
Doing fine, Greg. How about yourself?
Good. As always, George, we talk once a month, and always, unfortunately, there's something in the news. This time, first of all, let's start off with the pipe bomb incident going on at the Scare as far as several former elected officials and current officials. That was an unfortunate thing. It just shows you how easy it is to go to a local dollar-type facility, get a cheap package, get a Sharpie, and go from there. How horrible that was.
Well, you're exactly right. And it just it makes the case that there's several people out there that's got some screws loose, and it just is evidence to all of us that we need to stay vigilant and keep our heads on a swivel. The days are over with. I think where you can just walk down the street and never have to worry about being assaulted or worse. We just need to stay on our toes.
Absolutely. And, of course, what happened in Pittsburgh just a few days later over the weekend, people just trying to go to a religious service, minding their own business, and then, a nut came in there, and, of course, all hell broke loose. But, again, it was the nut that killed the person.
Well, and that's always the case. And, obviously, this isn't the first time a religious group has been assaulted. We can think back just a few months ago in Texas. And while that wasn't a Jewish group, it's a religious group. And you've got some people that are, for whatever reason, they hate any kind of religion or God. So they're gonna act out, and it's terrible. There's no way that they can make a case for that. All it is pure hatred, and we just simply can't tolerate any of that. The next part of that then is, well, how do you stop it? And I don't know that you can stop hate. I don't know that that's within man's purview to be able to do that. But what we can do is arm ourselves, have guards. And it's a shame it's come to that, but It seems to be a necessity, and the longer we put that off and refuse to call it what it is, that we need to guard ourselves to be able to defend ourselves, the more often these kinds of attacks are going to be successful.
George, you've said it several times. That's why I always tell our listening audience that listen online and on the radio on Saturdays too, and on TuneIn, that we can't live in a police state. The police cannot be everywhere, every second, at every public building or every private building there is. You know, it was not the gun that woke up on a Saturday morning and walked to the synagogue. It was the person that had it premeditated, that was online, that made it happen. And like you said, that unfortunately is the case that we live in.
Well, that's exactly right. And again, it just makes the case to reiterate one more time, as you're just saying, it's be informed of what's going on out there, and do not think for a minute that you're not reachable, that this is going to happen to somebody else. Never going to happen to you. That type of thought process that makes it easier for that type of thing to happen. And what am I alluding to here? Well, if you're, let's stay on the religion side of it, since that's what just happened again. But if you think that you're in a church and no one's ever going to come in and do that to your church, you're just fooling yourself. It's happening. It's kind of like saying, well, no one's going to win the lottery. Well, yes, somebody is going to win the lottery, and somebody does. But there's millions of people who don't, but somebody will. So if someone's going to come in to attack a church, it may not be your church, but it's going to be somebody's church, which means we all have to be prepared for that eventuality.
Talking to George McClain, the owner of the Marksman, Greg Bicouvaris at Greg Bick on Twitter. Glad you're with us as well. I guess there's a fine line too, George. I mean, from your standpoint, owning a gun facility, everybody should be armed and vigilant and proactive and looking over their shoulder and seeing who their neighbor is. And whether you go to a public or private place, we're about to enter the holiday season as well. And, should everybody, just go to the Marksman tomorrow and take a class? It seems like that's the way it should be.
Well, for years, we have taught our young people, this was, the scouting motto was what? Be prepared.
Sure.
And what's that mean? It means, in layman's terms, it's better to be prepared to defend yourself and pray to God that you never have to exercise that than the opposite, where you have to defend yourself, but now you have nothing to defend yourself with.
Right.
So you weren't prepared. And in that case, there's only one outcome. Well, there could be several outcomes, but none of them's good. And I vote for being prepared and hoping I never have to use it, and hoping you never have to use it. But if you're prepared, you're at least you're going to be able to go to sleep at night knowing that you protect yourself and your family. Here's
a problem, and George, you can echo or say your opinion after this too. Churches out there, businesses out there, homeowners out there. If you're listening right now, and of course on the radio and online, what other notifications do you need to get? I mean, you're seeing it every month. A tragedy happens because people are like lame ducks at target practice. Be prepared, like George says. Get a gun, get the proper schooling and training to do it. And somebody should be front and center, George, because this is going to continue to happen.
Well, I mean, that's right. History should be a good teacher. And the old saying that those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And so if we don't learn from those lessons, this goes back to what we've just been talking about for this particular interview. Our inaction is what allows future assaults to continue. So that's why I talk so much about gun-free zones. Why is a gun-free zone the most popular place for this type of an attack? It's because the attacker is a coward, and they don't want themselves to get shot, so they're going to go into a gun-free zone so they don't have anyone shooting back at them, so they can go shoot. So here you got it was back to what you're talking about with the police response time, and thank God they're there. But we each, it's impossible for each of us to have our own personal police officer that's with us 24/7. So, their calls, their responses are typically after the fact, after the deed has been done. So it's impossible for them to protect all of us, 24/7, as we've been talking about. So therein lies the requirement that we have to be able to protect ourselves. And you're right, that comes with getting some way to protect yourself, make sure that you know how to properly use it, and you know what the legal situation is, that you know what the law is.
George, what's going on in the month of November for the marksmen? Always something going on. Holiday season is here.
Well, we've got Veterans Day coming up. I'm a vet. We like to take care of our vets, and we've got military free days on the 1st and the 15th of every month. But this Veterans Day, we're going to do something a little different. Veterans Day, the 11th, is the historic day that we observe Veterans Day, and that's on a Sunday. So on that Sunday, the 11th, and also on the 12th, every veteran on either one of those 2 days, if you've got proper ID, then this would be an ID card from Veteran Affairs that says you're a vet, or you can bring in your DD-214 that says you're a vet. Obviously, if you have a DD-214, you are a vet, that you're discharged from the military. Then you're going to get 50% off of. I'll tell you what. Let's just make that free range.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So we'll do that. I'll have to get my people on board, because I just made that call and they don't know about it yet, but we will. So those 2 days, if you're a vet, you come in, you get free range.
Very nice, very nice.
And come in and have some fun.
On Industrial Park Drive, great location, centrally located to the peninsula, all over. I mean, you're close to Yorktown, Newport News, Williamsburg, Gloucester, everywhere.
Yeah, we're kind of right in the center of all the military bases, and so a huge active duty population and a huge veteran population. Come on in if you haven't been in. They'd like to extend the invitation for all those vets to come in and check us out. We'll treat you so many ways you'll have to like one of them.
Right, and your staff is always there to greet people at the front door. You're open 7 days a week. They can talk anything about taking a class or future hunting seasons, or just the proper do's and don'ts for family and friends and coworkers. George McClain, the owner of the Marksman, thank you as always.
Hi, Greg. Thank you very much. You take care.
You too. George McClain, the owner of the Marksman in Newport News, right here on Sports Scene. Stay tuned.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. You are listening to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris. Now, back to Greg. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
I want to thank our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Lunch, dinner, appetizers, boneless traditional wings, great rollout menu. Download their app, of course, for great specials and points. Excellent desserts, open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, late night. Great adult beverages. Go by and see Paul and the friendly staff at Newport News at 12150 Jefferson Avenue, next to Patrick Henry Mall. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Give them a call at 249-3999. 7 days a week, lunch, dinner, late night. Great food, great beverages, great desserts, great atmosphere, wings, beer, sports. Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Highlights continues right here. Sports Scenes Online on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Saturday on the radio from 10 to 11 on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM, 1010 AM, tunein.com. Type in WPMH in the search bar, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Bookmark it, of course, browse, shop, visit with the Hampton Roads Online Mall 24/7, GJBTV.com, HRSMHOF.com. Our question presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News to our producer, Joe Daniel. In your normal chores and day-to-day life, are you a creature of habit, or do you like to do random things occasionally to open up your day?
A little bit of both. I do say that I am much more random than I would like to be. I am trying to make more lists and try to accomplish the things on that list, as opposed to you just driving by a grocery store and realize, oh yeah, I need to go to that grocery store and pick something up. Have a plan. Say, okay, I'm going to go to work, and after work, I know I'm going to pass a grocery store, and that's why I need to run in, and while I'm there, I'm going to grab these items. So as opposed to being inefficient, essentially, by being so random. So I'm a little bit of both. I am more random just by nature, and that's just my personality, but I am trying to make strides into actually planning ahead and being more efficient with my day.
The day's like a big sandwich, folks. You got bread when you first walk out the morning. Everything is the filler in between during the course of the day. You might have to go back out again at night to run another errand or two, and then you close out the day. Well said, Joe Daniel.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. The best guests appear here on Sports Scene. Now back to Greg in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios.
I want to thank our good friends at No Forks Cheesesteaks and More. Go by and see Patty and her wonderful family at the Theo's Plaza Shopping Center for some great lunch. Open daily from 11 to 4, 473-0087. Find No Forks Cheesesteaks and More on Facebook as well. Go by and get a cheesesteak, as well as some great burgers as well. All the great specials going on Monday through Friday at No Forks Cheesesteaks and More. Patty and the staff will take care of you the moment you walk in a most pleasing atmosphere. No Forks Cheesesteaks and More, open Monday through Friday. It's a pleasure to talk to our monthly regular showcase guest, Gina Ippolito from Smithfield VA Events. Gina, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Very good, very good. Well, tell us all about the bacon event.
Oh, my gosh. It was just a blast. It was a little hot, but you really can't complain. We had great weather for setup. It was beautiful the day of the event, blue, sunny skies, just a little bit of a breeze. Everybody had a wonderful time. Everybody ate 2,300 pounds of bacon and had tastings from over 74 tastings, I think, bourbon selections everybody had to choose from. And we had lots of the Virginia breweries out here, and it was just a great day.
Very nice. Of course, there's something for everyone there. One thing you guys always do is you plan your dates well in advance. You have 3 events throughout the calendar year. We were sandwiched by a couple of so-called hurricanes. One really made a little bit of an impact here. Michael did. But you can never predict the weather. You can never predict anything. But the bottom line is you sustain and keep going on.
We do. This was our, we've been doing events since 2012. And in 2014, we started doing 3 events a year, the 3 you're talking about. So this was our 17th event. We've only had to cancel 1 because of weather. It was actually was the Bacon Fest back in 2015 because of a northeastern/hurricane off the coast. So we have been very, very fortunate with our weather. And we do plan our events ahead of time. They're pretty much standard weekends. Bacon Fest is always the first Saturday in October. Our Bob event, which is our Bloody Mary Oyster DeLoreans event, is the Saturday of Martin Luther King weekend. And the Wine and Brew Fest is historically the second Saturday in April, unless that falls on Easter weekend, which happens to us in 2020, and then we roll to the third Saturday. So for 8 years, we haven't had to deal with conflicting with Easter, but we do, not in 2019, but in 2020 we do. So trying to give everybody the heads up on that way in advance because everybody's used to us being the second Saturday.
Very nice, very nice. When you talk about your next event, let's talk about the date.
Bob Fest is January 19th. 2019. It is our, it's a little bit different than the other 2. We do it under about, this year we're expanding the party tent just a little bit, so it's going to be about 60,000 square feet of heated tent space. We have the party tent, which has the tables, the band, which is the DeLoreans, which is always a good time, and we do, it's basically, general admission tickets are a standing event unless you purchase a table ahead of time, and we've got VIP tables, we've got private areas, and then we've got just sponsor and non-sponsor tables. We do provide standing plank oyster tables for general admission tickets, so you have a place to stand and eat. But it's a lot of fun. And then we also have a secondary tent, which is the food tent, which has steamed and raw oysters. We do barbecue, Brunswick stew, and then, of course, our signature drink is the Bloody Marys with the Bloody Mary condiment bar. So you can dress up your Bloody after you get it, and if you're not into Bloodies, we also have beer and wine, and also soda and water for those that are not drinking. But it's a great afternoon in the middle of January when there's not much else going on. It has actually become really all our events are popular, but this one sells out in record speed time.
You're exactly right, because January is a month where people are looking for things to do, and that kind of breaks up the entire month.
It does, and it's been good for the town of Smithfield because it gives us a little boost in the middle of January after the holiday season, and we have a lot of people. We do an 8K race with that event the morning of. So the 8K race starts at 9 o'clock. The event starts at noon. We have a lot of runners who actually come into town for the weekend. We've got Warfield Brewing Company here. We've just opened a new vineyard just right outside Smithfield called Summerwind Vineyards. And I know a lot of our runners are excited to just roll in here Friday, go hit the brewery, go hit the winery, hit our event on Saturday, and we have lots of other people that stay in hotels. So it's been a great thing, not just for the local crowd or people that buy the tickets for the day, but it's kind of been a little boost of a big weekend in Smithfield in the middle of January.
Leave us with how people get a hold of you as well on your wonderful website.
Our website is SmithfieldVAEvent.com, and from that website you can click on whichever one of the events you're interested in. Of course, Bob Fest is the one that we're promoting right now because it's the next event that we have. Tickets for that event go on sale November 14th at 7 o'clock in the morning and November 15th at 8 o'clock at night online. 8K race, you can go ahead and register for that starting November 1st, and you can add up to 2 tickets to the event to your 8K race registration. And, of course, if you're interested in doing a sponsored table or a sponsorship, you can call yours truly right here. And my name is Gina, and my phone number is 757-869-0664, or you can just find my email address all over the website. Again, that website is SmithfieldVAEvents.com.
Right, and I'll leave you with this note, folks. Anybody can go to YouTube and type in Gina Ippolito. Space, and of course, type in Sports Scene. All the past archived interviews are there front and center. Gina, all the best to you and your family. Have a wonderful rest of November, and we will talk to you in December.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Greg. Have a good day.
You too. Gina Ippolito right there from Smithfield VA Events.
What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
I want to thank our good friends at Panera. All items 100% clean. Go by and see them at 6255 College Drive in Harborview, 483-3670. Great soup, sandwiches, bagels, desserts, breakfast sandwiches, open 7 days a week. Go by and see Heather and the staff. For more, go to PaneraBread.com. Food as it should be. What teased me off, Joe Daniel? Having to pay for someone else's alcohol.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Or any drug or substance or addiction or anything like that. Having to pay for that, support that. I mean, you're indirectly supporting that. And I know, circumstances are complicated, or I don't want to say it's you can't avoid it, but at the same time, like if that person needs help, pay for their help and not the alcohol or the drug or whatever it is.
I was just referring paying for the alcohol going out. That's bad enough.
Oh, like at a restaurant?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of course, this is also bad. We talked about yard work, but these two have separate entities altogether. Picking up sticks, picking up leaves.
Yeah, any kind of yard work, like we've talked about before on the show. I hate doing landscape. I hate mowing the lawn. So yes, anything that has to do with raking leaves and bagging them and all that, definitely don't want to do that.
We've talked about running errands several times on here as well, but having to stop suddenly and then use the restroom and try to find that restroom.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I know it's natural, it happens, but it's such an inconvenience, and you're wasting gas, I'm thinking, and wasting time having to pull off and use an exit, or if there's not a rest stop, then, you kind of have to pull over at the nearest exit and try to find a gas station that doesn't look so run down and dingy.
This was awkward. I was at Walmart recently. I was buying something that was personal for a man, ran into a girl that I know. She goes, "What do you got there?" Really, none of your business.
Yeah,
don't ask.
Yeah, that's where you just essentially just pretend you don't see them or hear them and just walk in the opposite direction.
This time of the year, Joe Daniel, awkward holiday parties. How's the girlfriend? How's the wife? How's the kids?
Yeah, when people who don't keep in touch as much, and then they're asking personal questions about that when it's been years since they asked, and a lot can happen in a matter of just even months, but let alone just a few years. Yeah, that is kind of awkward to state your status.
This is never fun. Always being the person to take the lead.
Yeah, and some people rise to the occasion, and some people are just natural at it, but it's very difficult when that's not your personality, and people still look to you for advice and to be that leader.
Finally, heated church meetings.
If there's any time to not be heated, it's in a church meeting.
That's what teased me off. I want to thank our wonderful guests today, Joel Rubin, Patrick Rollins, George McClain, and Gina Ippolito. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Click the YouTube link as well, at Greg Bick on Twitter, at GJB Radio on Twitter as well. And thank our good friends, hrsmhof.com and HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. I'm Greg Bicouvaris for Joe Daniel. We'll talk to you soon.